You in? Well, hello, everyone. 6 minutes past the hour. I hope you all enjoyed Who Needs a Drink. I just got home about 20 minutes ago. Got myself a Sancerre. What about you, Shane? Can I hear you?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, you sound good. Sounds very compressed and radio ready.
Oh, does it?
Indeed. I made myself a little Sancerre spritz. And yeah, so what's going on? Sorry I didn't get to watch your thing. I was traveling. I was en route, as they say in France.
Oh, no problem, man.
Yeah.
I was actually, I was saying, hey, Dirk, if you're watching, start it up now.
I had set up my
like you could start it by yourself, and then I would just pop in.
What would I say? I need the counterpoint.
All right.
Did you guys talk about a lot of cool watches?
Yeah, I talked about AP for a while. About this new one.
What is that? Oh, God. Oh, Jesus.
Royal Oak Offshore.
Offshore, yeah. That's a big fucker.
Yeah.
It'll work on you, but
yeah, it works. Let me show you. I'll pull it up right now.
Boy, look at that nasty. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of sexy. Look at her.
Oh, God. Wow, that's a big, it's like a bricklayer's watch. a classy bricklayer. A bricklayer with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Look at the loom. Today was loom day. Let me tell you, it was so bright here in New York. I had a lot of great watch spotting today. Lots of great conversations about watches.
Yeah.
Look at that. That is, it's a very modern-y looking thing, right? Wow, that's on their version of the Oyster Flex, right? What is that called?
Yeah, look at the AP, the big long A and
yeah, sure.
What
is that band called?
I don't know if there's a name for the band. I don't like Oyster Flex or whatever. I don't think that's there, but maybe it is.
Autoflex.
Well, Autoflex. It's the offshore, so it's the Royal Oak Offshore. It's the chunkier, sporty, 100 meters water resistance version of the Royal Oak. This is the chronograph, of course. There is a non-chronograph version, and it has the mega tapisserie on the dial, so it's big, chunky squares.
Yeah. Now, is that a 44?
42.
42.
But where's like a 44? I mean, look at it.
Yeah. That's a big hunk of steel. The hunk of steel.
Yeah.
I had a guy come in today, and everybody was walking in out of the sun, and their fine watches were just a super chromolite city. One guy had a Hulk on, and the dial was so dark, I thought it was a Kermit. And I said, "Oh, Kermit." He goes, "No, it's because it just looks so dark in here." And he had absolutely no idea what his Hulk was worth in the current market.
Oh, he didn't know at all.
You know what he paid for it in 2017?
$8 grand, $7 grand,
$7,400.
Right.
Here in New York at a jeweler's. And I said, "Dude, that thing's like 30 grand, 28 grand right now." And he's like, "Were you kidding me?" I'm like, "Totally." Because I'd never sell it. I said, "Well, you might not, but you could." Look at your little AP collection.
It's a collection now, man.
Look at that. Wow. Now you just need a couple of Petite's and a couple of Vacherons, and you're Trinity out. Look at that. Of course, I still think that's far more beautiful. The other thing is a whole other world.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm gonna go a Petite. You know, I think it's a crossroads decision. You go left or you go right. You know.
I guess. Would you go with an overseas? Would you go with a Vacheron?
I would.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah,
I think Petite's might all be too small for you.
Yeah, a little bit.
They're a bit dainty, aren't they?
Tiny bit.
Yeah,
tiny bit.
Wow, look at that. Yeah, that's a beauty. It's a beauty. It's an absolute beauty.
I'm just trying to get Blondie's link. She's coming on live in 2 hours. I'm trying to get the link out of her, and I don't think she knows how to send it.
So she's going to start out here with us and then go over to her own channel, which is great.
She could do that if she wants, but otherwise, I'm just trying to get the link so I can promote it so people can see where she is.
Sure.
What's going on? Did you look at that stuff yesterday, or was it the other day where I was sending you about signals from outer space? Did you read that?
Yeah, sure. I'm always watching that anyway.
Right.
Starting with WoW and the one from last year, 2019. And then I tried to watch some of the Neil deGrasse Tyson version, and his channel is just so poo-poo. It's comedic, and I don't know. The guy he's got on there is kind of like JB Smoove. It's just wasn't very scientific for me. I like the more serious stuff. It was a bit comedy.
Right.
And I take my extraterrestrial signal possibilities kind of seriously. Like Big Ear, the WoW signal from Big Ear. And I was watching a documentary about how the university sold off the property to create the golf course, and what happened was Big Ear was demolished, which is very sad. It wasn't the most beautiful, but now since we've lost Arecibo, and for those of you guys who don't know, Arecibo was a giant radio telescope in Puerto Rico that was destroyed from a hurricane. Destroyed.
Oh, wow.
So that's gone now. The dish cracked and the infrastructure fell apart and all that stuff. So
See the tapisserie there.
Yeah.
It's the Grand, and then that one's the Mega, much bigger squares.
Much bigger,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that thing is like milled. It looks so CNC milled. So many right angles on it.
Yeah.
It's the Big Bang of AP, I guess, right?
It is. I think the Big Bang was kind of modeled after, and other watches like that are modeled after that.
Yeah.
It's when things started getting very big on the AP side.
Sure. Well, they created a new audience for themselves by going in that direction.
Let me show you the loom on this thing, though. I'm doing the engage on the chrono there. It's sexy.
Yeah, that's very sexy.
It's really nice. Do a little spin here so you can see the light play with both watches.
It's funny how AP makes steel look like precious metal. It really does. Well, I guess Rolex does too.
Yeah.
So many of them do.
There's a lamp on that.
That's crazy. What do they use? Is that a superluminova, or they have their own formula?
I'm not sure. That's a very good question. It looks like superluminova to me. Mind you, there are different grades of superluminova. So
sure,
that's a very broad.
Because Rolex is all chromolite now. It's all blue, right?
Yes. Bluey green rather than greeny green, mint green.
Yeah, that's very, very green.
Isn't that nice?
Beautiful.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you read that article? I mean, are they talking about faint signals from the other side of the universe or something?
That's what they were saying. I mean, that kind of stuff, we'll never figure that out because it's so far away. I'm far more interested in the 2019 one, where it looked like it was coming from the exact specific coordinates of Proxima Centauri, which is, if most of you guys out there are interested in that or know about that, it is the closest star to our solar system. It's only 4.35 light years away, which is as close as we'll ever get to anybody, if we can ever figure out how to do that. So that would require some fancy footwork. For those of you who want to know the math is it'll take 4.35 years if you travel at the speed of light, which is pie in the sky at this time. Forget about the Alcubierre drive or any of that stuff. Light sails can do it in 4 years, in theory.
Okay.
So that would mean we could send light sails with camera probes and things to go over to Alpha Centauri and see what their system looks like. Apparently, there's 2 planets in the Goldilocks zone, but the big problem with that is it's a red dwarf, and red dwarfs are highly unstable, and they give off a lot of like spurt radiation, a lot of they're nicey nice, and then they'll just blow a big wad and eviscerate all the atmospheres of any kind of planets that are around. So it's unlikely, but they're saying that particular star is kind of like a low-key volcano. It doesn't emit as much radiation. It's not as prone to the kind of outbursts that red dwarfs are classically. And red dwarfs are the most populous stars in the universe, from what we know, what we can observe. So it's very interesting. I'm far more interested in what's tangible. Well, I mean, like, okay, unless you've got the Vulcans or one of some super advanced society that has starships that can do 100 times the speed of light, how the hell are we ever going to get a hold of anybody? If something's coming from the other side of the universe, how long did it take to get here? Well, billions of years, obviously. Right. So that just seems, we'll never know the end of that. Yay, we got something. We don't know what it is. It's far more fun like when you watch Contact the movie, and they finally John Hurt's character, who's floating around in his spaceship orbital craft, and he decodes the thing, and it's the reason why they couldn't figure out what it said was because it was written in a square, a perfect cube, and they put the cube together and they were able to deduce what the thing said. Here, build this. It was instructions for, Carl Sagan wrote this, so it was pretty sexy.
Yeah, it was nice. By the way, Nathaniel gave us our first super chat on the iBashers channel.
Is that right?
Yeah, because this is not on Timeless Watch channel right now. This is on iBashers only.
Oh, is that right?
This is
well,
the
that's
first
great
solo iBashers broadcast,
which is a good idea. Finally, to unleash the beast.
Yeah, and now we're monetized. So thank you,
Nathaniel. Thank you, Nathaniel.
Here's
He's always pretty much the first guy to throw us a bone.
Usually,
on all the chats. Yeah.
Bob Sacamano, no patisserie on the offshore dial. You missed it, man. Let me show it to you again.
Yeah.
Missed it. There, see it? Oops. There it is.
It's gigantic.
It's called Mega Tapisserie. Yeah. So they have the Petite, the Grand, and the Mega. Petite you'll find on the woman's watches. Okay, I think I got the link now. Oh, that's a lovely photo as well. Look at her. She's looking sexy. She's a funny thing, isn't she? Here she is. Okay, now I've got it. Thank you, darling. Send it to myself. Yeah, I just thought that was, I'm one of these people who I'm skeptical until we find some hard evidence of life in the universe. Other life in the universe, I kind of have to assume there isn't. I think it's safer to assume there isn't than there is. I don't think it certainly doesn't occur very easily nearby. So I figure like if it's occurring elsewhere, certainly intelligent life, it's probably so bloody far away. We'll never come across it anyway. So what's the point in even thinking about it? At least that's maybe that's a bit defeatist, idea.
I don't think that it is. I think I'm in the same boat. I think the same way. I just think there's we're such a speck. I always compare it to Dr. Seuss and Horton Hears a Who, we are here. It's like a speck of dust and a whole universe. And then there's, Mrs. Tucanella and all these characters. And Horton is like, no, there's the people there, I mean, we're just a speck of nothing in terms of the cosmos. Right. So, if somebody sent a signal from the other side we're talking about the other side, not the Milky Way. Talking about the other side of the observable universe.
A very different place indeed. Yes.
Guys,
there's the link in the chat for Blondie's stream. You'll see there the iBashers. That's her link. If you want to save it, she's going to be doing some chats. And I think she's going to be lying on the bed there with the jeans pants and all.
Is there a theme to this? Like
I don't think the theme is sexy. I think she's going to talk about watches and general other stuff and have a chat with her audience.
Whoa.
Hey, it's a good way to end the evening of streams. Like you're watching men all night and then you finish off with a hot girl.
With an attractive lass, of course. Yeah.
Yes, of course. We lost a bunch of viewers already. That means they've already gone over and they're waiting. Guys, it's not starting for another hour and 40.
Oh, is that right?
Well, she's starting at 8 p.m. your time, so that's
Okay.
2 a.m. here, 1 a.m. Britain.
And is everyone going to be asking you like ridiculous New Jersey housewives questions? Like, what did you guys get up to in Venice? Is it going to be sensationalist? Is it going to be like everybody wanted to dig into like
they're already asking. We're not telling.
You shouldn't, because
I'm not telling anything. It's completely private, of course. It's just that the answer is, wouldn't you like to know? That's it. Wouldn't you like to know? Always.
Yeah, when classy people don't talk about their personal lives
and
and
tell.
that kind of right. They don't do it.
Right.
That's well, good for you guys.
By the way, did you really go to see McCartney? Happy birthday, by the way, Dirk. Guys,
Oh, thanks.
Dirk's birthday during the week. Wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, my sister Carrie took me, and I went with Shay, my niece, and my nephew Quinn, and we're all big Paul fans. And I have to say, well, two things. Hold on. First of all, I made the mistake. I don't know, is that a word? I took I live in New York City proper, 5 minutes from Midtown Manhattan, but this was at the old Giant Stadium, which is now called MetLife Stadium. So she's like, "Oh, get an Uber." I'm like, "Well, there's a shuttle bus that goes right from Port Authority to the stadium." I said, "Let me do that." I get there and there's a line. I had pre-bought the tickets. There was a line. I mean, 600 people deep to get on the buses to get there.
Oh God.
So while we're there, I'm just waiting on the line. It's horrible. But while I was there, I ran into this guy and we were just chit-chatting, having a nice little chat. And it was about, the McCartney and the set list. And we both looked at setlist.com, blah, 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 blah. And then I noticed him looking at me kooky and I like at my wrist. And it was because of this. We both had Speedy Reduce on. He had the 351 350 on with the date. And I was wearing, of course, the classic Speedy Reduced with the Dubras. And I noticed that, like, he's got a hexagonal crown, and everything's in a straight line because it doesn't have the extra module for the chronograph.
Oh, it doesn't. It's integrated.
No, it's integrated, but it's the same for he noticed we both had 1479 bracelets on.
Wow.
And I was like, I looked at him, I was like, "Oh, hey." And then became this, his name is Blake. We had a great chat, great ride, just talked about watches the whole time, like what he wants, what our Grail watches are. It was great. It was like 2 hours to get to the friggin' stadium's 10 minutes away. So we went to McCartney, and we got there. I met up with my sister and my niece and my nephew. And, I've been watching Paul, and, he's 80 years old, and his voice is not what it was, but man, none of that mattered. He was good enough. The band was so great that everybody covered the spots that were necessary. You didn't feel like he was struggling at any point. It's not like John Bon Jovi's, whatever his psychological vocal issues are. It is. And as a singer myself, I know when you have a problem, if you're having a bad night or you've got some kind of physical ailment that doesn't allow you to perform at the level that you're hoping to do. Sure. McCartney has definitely it's a weathered voice. He had some surgery years ago. I don't know I don't think it helped him in any way. It's a husk. He's got a husky sound. But it's cool. And he did 40 songs.
Wow.
40. But the show was 2 hours, 35 minutes. It's because when you think about it, he's not Yes or Emerson, Lake and Palmer. These are 3 minute, 2.5 minute great songs. Paul McCartney, Gotta Get You Into My Life, is like 3 minutes, 31 seconds. These are songs that have hooks and melodies and incredible bass lines and all of that candy that you want in a song in 3 minutes.
Right.
He gets in and gets out without boring anybody, which is the challenge for any songwriter, is unless you're Yes or Emerson Lake and Palmer and you want Rush, you want these 10, 12, 40-minute songs. That's a different thing.
Right.
But Paul McCartney, who invented, the Beatles single-handedly invented several genres of music. Power pop, metal with Helter Skelter. They did so many things. It was a seamless show. Bruce Springsteen came out and played 2 songs.
No way.
He did.
Wow.
Let me tell you something about that. I'm not a big Bruce Springsteen aficionado. Of course, I have the utmost respect for him. Have I followed his career? As a layperson, I'm not a deep cut Bruce Springsteen guy. Came out, looked like a stud. Yes. Ripped to shreds, tanned as all fuck.
He works out a lot.
Young and amazing. They did Glory Days, probably my least favorite Bruce Springsteen song ever. I hate that song. And I had a dream I was a great baseball player. It's just such American pandery bullshit. But whatever. He was spectacular. It was flawless. And then he stayed for another number. And then John Bon Jovi came out and wished him happy birthday and sang happy birthday badly.
Do you guys share a birthday?
Paul McCartney's June 18th.
Oh.
So I was the day before, he's the day after. We went June 17th.
Wow.
So we went Thursday night. The staging was Paul had a full horn section. There's a big joke about Paul McCartney being what is the word I'm looking for? Frugal? Yeah. A bit frugal when it comes to, he doesn't ever have an orchestra for Yesterday or
right
or any of the
he's pretty familiar with the nightmare that's involved in having
well things. He should be because they did it first. Nobody had a string quartet or an orchestra on a rock song before the Beatles did, but I would assume all of that work went down to George Martin. But he had a very simple stage with 2 big giant screens, and he had hydraulics to emphasize certain songs where he would go up and everybody would be able to see him better. It was a very well orchestrated show. The sound was extraordinarily good, super crisp and clear, and it was great. It was the guy's 80 years old, and showing the kids how it is done. But he also has a repertoire that
the repertoire.
I mean,
listen, I went to see him 6-7 years ago out there in the same place. Was it the MetLife? Was that
MetLife Stadium?
And it was funny because just getting there, the cars in the backed up for miles. And I thought, he must be at the venue already by hours ago.
Helicopter.
He flew in over. And of course he did. Walked on the stage. But I remember thinking, I was watching this set thinking, okay, every song is just a legendary, not the artist's legendary song, just a legendary
song.
A song that has changed our lives. Every single song, or most of them, he'd do a couple of odder ones, whatever. But most of the tunes played were tunes that changed the world. And it's just like, I had to it's hard to even grasp that one artist or, he and his fellow, songwriters came up with all of these. Like, you're lucky enough to have one song that resonates throughout time, throughout the entire world. He was playing practically half of the stuff we all sing along to our whole lives. Is that the set list?
That's the set list. He opened up the show with Can't Buy Me Love.
Okay.
Then he did Junior's Farm, Letting Go, which is an obscure Wing song, for those of you who don't know. Gotta Get You Into My Life, which has more hooks than any song I've ever heard of in my life. Ready? I was alone, I didn't ride, I didn't know what I would find. Ooh, when I suddenly see you, every single, gotta get you into my life. I was alone, I didn't ride, I didn't know what I would find there. I was alone. I mean, how many fucking hooks can you have in one song? I mean, and then the Earth, Wind, and Fire version, which is outrageously good.
Okay.
So then he did a song called Come On To Me, which I don't know, and I couldn't name it. He did a Wing song called Let Me Roll. He did Getting Better. Oh, fuck.
Wow.
Then he did Let Him In, and it was great. Then he dedicated a song to his wife, Nancy. who, you know, he had Linda all those years, and she was such a big part of his world and the mother of his
Right.
children and all that great stuff. And then he married that gold digging witch who I met because she came into my bar once, like probably 20 years ago, with an entourage. And her handler was like, Miss Mills, if anybody wants an autograph, she loves to take pictures and do autographs. And I was like, why would anybody want her autograph? She just took my God to the cleaners.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't believe in prenuptials. So he did a song called My Valentine, and I know you know this song because
love that song.
I don't know, 40 years into a man's career, he's able to come up with a melody that's special. It's a gorgeous score. If you guys don't know it, My Valentine, it's a breathtaking song by Paul.
Yeah.
Then he did a Wing song called 1985.
I was angry when I first heard that song because I thought, you know, sometimes you hear it's just a perfectly written song. You're like, why didn't I write that song? Like, why was that song or anyone else? Like, how come it took so long for that song to be written? You hear those lyrics.
He was busy writing other shit.
I know. He's busy writing all the best songs in the history of the world.
He was writing, you know. Yeah, he was busy writing. I mean, Flaming Pie, which is my personal favorite McCartney post Wings solo effort. I love that. I like Chaos and Creation as well. I think who produced that? Like Johnny Greenwood, somebody fantastic producer. Somebody from. I'm not from who were the guys? I'm not a Radiohead guy. Who are the main guys in Radiohead?
Johnny Greenwood.
And Tom York.
Tom York.
And then
they're the main guys.
Who's their producer? They have the same producer for almost every record.
You're asking the wrong person.
Oh, I thought you were a Radiohead guy.
No, the rest of my band was not me. I mean, I love them. They're brilliant. I'm just not the super fan.
I just always hated that song that you guys used to play. Dum 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 dum. That would be like my smoke break.
That's okay.
That was my smoke break song when you guys.
Oh, you're like, yeah, now I can need a smoke.
I'm like, dum 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 dum. I was like, I'm out of here. I hate that fucking song. It's a band I never
barely
got.
A song. It's barely a song at all.
I get.
They stopped writing songs after the OK Computer, probably.
Well, I mean,
the Bends are the best collection of songs.
The Bends I have, the Bends I like, and then I kind of I don't know what happened along the way. But anyway, I'm not going to go through his giant set list, but here's the highlights. He did Maybe I'm Amazed. Paul's voice suffers most when he's singing something very soft and isolated. You know, like, maybe I'm amazed at the way you love me all the time. It was that's where the weakness comes in, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
I've just seen a Face Beatles. He did a song by the Quarrymen, and he gave this great story about how him and John. And
the Quarrymen were before the Beatles.
Yeah, it's the band before the Beatles, and they had some drummer, and it's like, yeah, well, you know, we were in John's house and we wrote this song, and we thought, oh, it's a good one. Let's give it a go. And he did it tonight for the Punters, and it was really good. And it was fucking full-on performance with a horn section. It was great.
Yeah.
He did Love Me Do, Dance Tonight, which is such a symphony. That's everybody's gonna dance tonight. I love that song. It's like a kick drum and a snare. It's great. Blackbird, Lady Madonna, Benefit of Mr. Kite. He did. Wow. Something for George. Obla-dee, obla-da. You Never Give Me Your Money. One of my absolute favorite Beatles songs. Everything on that side of the record. Beautiful. Yeah, it's just, because that's beautiful. The whole motif of that whole side. Dun, 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 dun. That's the whole motif of that side, isn't it?
Right. Yes.
Then he did Get Back, Band on the Run, Glory Days with Bruce Springsteen. Then he did I Want to Be Your Man with Bruce Springsteen. Old Beatles song, right? Let It Be, Live and Let Die with Fireworks and all that shit. Hey Jude. Then he did I've Got a Feeling. I did have a problem with this, and I know the fans liked it. I had a guy next to me going, oh my God, what the fuck? They put a screen up. Peter Jackson had given him the footage and cut Paul's vocals out so John could do a duet with John. And they did I've Got a Feeling, kind of a la Natalie Cole. And I was like, oh, I don't like this. And that is when I took a pee break because I didn't want to watch that. I didn't want to watch that shtick. Then he did John Bon Jovi came out for the birthday song, and then he did Helter Skelter. Then Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight, the end of show. He did the whole side. Even like
Yeah.
she came in through the bathroom window. I mean, they didn't.
Right.
It's not enlisted here, but he did that. He did all of side 2 of
Oh.
Abbey Road, which I don't know. Is that the definitive Beatles side? It is for me.
Maybe.
I mean, it all depends on your Beatledom. But
Your
anyway, it was
Beatledom.
a great show. He was great. Everyone in the world should see Paul McCartney before he either leaves this earth or decides to retire, which I don't think is in the cards. But just because of how important he is, and all the music that you listen to is all derived from it. We've all stolen from the Beatles. Everything that they did was a catalyst for something else. So you might not even realize that the band that you love were influenced by the Beatles.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, come on.
You know?
Carla Martin, $20. Thank you, Carla.
Oh,
Did you
hi,
have a
Carla.
question? Oh, she said happy birthday.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Hey, thank you so much.
So nice.
25 again.
Ray.
Hey, Ray. Super sticker. He's super sticker. Thank you very much. Yeah, so
Troy McMahon, $2. What is the story, guys? Hope you're keeping well. The story's pretty good, man.
The story's happening.
I was telling everybody on my Who Needs a Drink that the channel is, I'm getting shitloads of views. I've had 250,000 views on the channel in 3 days.
On iBashers?
No.
You're on
my channel.
Well,
and
established.
No,
you're an
250. No, but 250,000 is not. That's too much. That's way too many. You know what it is? It's the algorithm responding. Why are we looking at your desktop? I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
Sorry. It's the algorithm responding to all the chatter. It's all the chatter and the slander and all of that stuff.
Oh, all of
my name is
trials
being
and tribulations with
all
your
of that.
scandal.
The name is being bounced around. It can only be that. What else would it be? The subs are coming back up like crazy, and the views have gone through the bloody roof. I reckon what's happening is the Google algorithm is going, oh, everybody's talking about the Time to Watch channel, not knowing what the context is. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. And just
you
going,
make a porno.
But I reckon also, or at least somewhere in my mind, I'm telling myself this, that some people are going, really? What an asshole. Let me check out his channel. And they're coming over and seeing the shit and going, I like that.
Yeah.
And then clicking on the next video and going,
I watch a lot of assholes. I used to think Rick Beato was an asshole. I used to think he was an elitist asshole. Now it's like, where's Rick's new video? Click.
Stuart Roberts, $5. Every time our consciousness expands, so does the universe. Coincidence?
Ooh,
okay.
That's brilliant.
deep. That's deep.
That's deep, yeah. And agreed. I mean, we are just such, cosmically, we are nothing.
Christopher, I got your email. I'll read it later tonight. Thank you so much, man, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Is that it? Yeah, that's it so far. Yeah, so I just had that thinking that, these guys want to cut me down so bad. It's their dream to see my channel fail or whatever,
Whose dream and why?
Loads of them. Oh, loads of them.
Who?
Loads
the acolytes of Ratzo or?
Yeah, and a bunch of
that guy's channel is not even a real channel. It's just this. That's all that is.
I know.
It's just like God tier. God, I mean, it's not real. There's no content.
You can't
do
the accent.
He's not Tim Masso.
God
tier. He's like, I was, before, like I had to work at like 9 o'clock this morning. But what did I do? I had my coffee and I watched Tim Masso. Why?
I need to watch more of him.
I learn from Tim Masso because Tim Masso is the absolute. Archie might be the pontiff, but Tim, man, he's like the god. He knows everything, and there's no way that guy's reading off of a card. That guy just knows every movement, every single. He's incredible.
Yeah, guy's a savant.
He's a savant. I just absolutely adore Tim Masso and everything he does. And he was doing a lot of it was Omega Rich this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really good. Can I answer this? It's not a super chat, but I want.
Go ahead.
He is not Irish.
He's Dutch.
He's not Irish. Come on.
No, he's Dutch.
one of my metal guys in my heavy metal world is this guy named Kit, and he goes to all the shows. He's a runner. He's a skinny guy. He's an American guy, and he travels all over the world to go see every like great metal show that he wants to. And you wouldn't believe what he wrote on his Facebook page this morning. I love you, Kit, if you're listening, but you're probably not. He wrote, "I was in Derry/Londonderry this morning." I was like, "Oh no, oh no, 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 no."
Like
Don't ever say Londonderry.
No.
Oh no, no, no. Walking
You
in
ever
the
go on TikTok?
sand.
Yeah.
I know
It's
the
all
song,
over
original
TikTok.
song.
Yeah.
And I love, by the way, do you know who did a great version of that song?
No.
Aerosmith.
Really?
It's great. It's on a record when they were like super drugged out of their minds. And it's a great record called Night in the Ruts. I just finished Steven Tyler's book, and I've never in my life heard more debauchery in the world than what that guy got up to. And I've read every rock star's book because I'm a goody two shoes. I'm not a drug person. I've never done any drugs, and I just find it fascinating when people just are willing to just go into an alleyway and say, "You got any heroin?" Excellent. I'm amazed. But yeah, that's a great song. Is that a big TikTok song, "Walking in the Sand"?
Yeah, I mean, just the oh no. The video is always when something bad is going to happen. A truck is going to fall over or something. You know, you made some stupid move, and it's oh no.
Is that the Shirelles? Forgive me for not knowing my original rock and roll. I should be way more well versed in the origins of rock and roll. But that's like a big girl group song. I believe it was Phil Spector. I'll Google it just because for my edification. Walking in the Sand. Walking in the Sand is a song by the Shangri-Las. That is good to know. Walking in the Sand. Let's see if it was. Oh God! Produced by Jeff Barry. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so that's a great song. I'm not a TikTok person. I'm trying really, really hard to get familiar with Instagram because like this guy Blake I met on the way home, bus home, which was another 2.5 hour extravaganza. I met a group of people from Clare.
From Clare in Ireland.
Clare in Ireland, right? And I was like, "Oh, my dad, they're from Limerick, right there, Palace Green." And she's like, "Oh, I know Palace Green." I'm like, "Why would you know Palace Green?" She's like, "Oh, my uncle lives there." And I'm like, "Who's your uncle?" Figuring I'm related to you. But no. Yeah, so I met these lovely people, and we just chatted about Shannon Airport and all the things that are around that vicinity. It was nice. It's weird. It's weird who you meet on the bus. But fun.
Yeah. Well, the options are open. Do you ever do any camping or going around hostels and things like that? Do you ever do any of that shit?
Oh, Sheen, come on. You know who I am. You know me. Does the Four Seasons have a glamping or camping? Do that.
Because I used to do that camping shit and you're like trekking across
I'm a cunt. I'm a spoiled little cunt.
Well, I am now too.
I've flown first class my entire life for free because of my dad. I have never, and he's like, back in the day when we were really young, American Airlines had hotels called the Americana, and they were great. No, I'm the hostel thing I missed about. I'm sure there's a lot of great drugs and a lot of great sex and a lot of great murder.
You meet very weird and interesting people. They're usually Australian. You know, there's a lot of Australian backpackers.
Sure, that's great.
German backpackers.
There's always backpackers.
And they're odd folk, but you know, there's usually a common room in one of those hostels with a fire. That's
where you get chained to the radiator and you get murdered by that entity in the movie Hostel.
I've met some amazing people on those things.
I'm sure.
And you've never eaten a better meal in your life than when you trek, when you're camping or staying in a hostel, you're trekking across mountains and through forests and so on. And following rivers, and you know you're boiling river water, and then cooling it so you can drink the water, using niacin in the water to purify it or something like that. when you get to the top of a hill or a mountain or the end of a trek, and you open, you finally get your pitcher tent or you get settled, and you open a tin of beans and you heat it up. That tin of beans, dude,
That's because
it's
you're
caviar.
starving. That's the only thing.
Your entire excuse me. Your entire body is exhausted, your mind is exhausted, and you've gone back to this primitive place in your head, where you're doing things that man did for thousands of years that we no longer really do much anymore, more other than for
Like
fun.
this.
Yeah, like with the thing. Yeah. No, but we weren't that bad, but we were like we were roughing it around a lot, and it's that meal is just the best meal of your life. It doesn't matter what it is.
I get it because I used to mountain bike
good.
a lot, and I once went up to big what is it called, Jim Thorpe, which is a very famous single track. I mean, I've got great bikes, and I don't ride them, and I'm an idiot. But I used to go on these big sojourns, and we do all that. And I'll never forget, one day we were out for fucking 10 hours, and we were exhausted, and we went to this shithole. And man, I have never scarfed down a meal so hard in my life. It was like I had never eaten, and everything. It was a sensory overload.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but you know what? When you travel now, it's like, I don't know. Do they not have a sea view with a balcony? Fuck.
I know, I'm over that too to a certain degree.
Yeah, because I've hunted it out in a lot of hotels with
no, I'll go with the two of us, but we or and many others. But the way I look at it is, I'm one or the other now. Like you want to backpack it across Europe or across the Sahara. You want to do that. Okay, great, and do a survival thing, or 5-star hotel. I'm not staying in a cheap ass hotel to save a few quid. I won't go the middle ground.
No, you're doing it for a completely other reason. That's because you are in the Amazon, and you are putting salve on your snake bites and all that shit, and you found this this Sherpa or whatever. That is a different experience. Like, do you know the story about David Lee Roth and what he used to get up to? David Lee, he's like a 10th degree master black belt, and he's the master of so many martial arts disciplines. I think like 10 or 12 of them, all Brazilian. Oh, David Lee Roth is a sword master. The guy, he grew up very wealthy. His dad was a very wealthy doctor, and he grew up in Pasadena, California. And
this is the singer from
David Lee Roth from Van Halen.
I just needed to tell everybody.
Sure. Come on, David Lee Roth. If you don't know who David Lee Roth is, come on.
You never know.
So anyway, David Lee Roth, who's like this, big front man for one of the biggest bands of all time, he would get a group of his favorite adventurers, and they would get, because he's got impossible amounts of money. He would rent private jets to take them to some rural place in the Amazon or the Sahara or, somewhere deep in Southeast Asia. And they'd get a helicopter, and the helicopter, they would parachute out of the helicopters and get dumped in a completely barren, in a place that has no inhabitants. And they're survivalists. He's a survivalist. So they would figure out a way to get back to civilization by being dumped out of a helicopter. And he did that for 30 years.
Wow.
And with the most rudimentary of supplies, a compass, matches, cans of gruel, whatever, no fancy stuff.
Wow.
This is a guy who could own the Four Seasons chain. Forget about staying in it. He could own it. And that's what his thing was. He was dumped in the desert, and he talked about drinking his own urine and all that stuff.
It's just something you absolutely have to do.
Yeah.
It's totally a thing you have to do if you find yourself in that situation. It's recycling. It's mostly water. So you're recycling the water. You just gotta,
and it is drinkable.
You got to chug it back. It's better than drinking seawater. It's better than any sort of alcohol.
Seawater will kill you every time, man. There's not much sustenance available there.
Imagine how painful that is, being like stranded at sea, feeling that thirst, seeing water everywhere around you, hearing it splash, but not being able to drink a drop of it.
Was it a
Just
water, water everywhere, and all the boards did shrink? Water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Samuel
yeah,
Taylor Coleridge, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one after one, by the star-dogged moon, too quick for groan no sigh. With heavy thump, a lifeless lump, they drop down one by one.
You remember that because of
Because of Iron Maiden.
Live After Death.
Well, not Live After Death, because I didn't love that record. I remember because of Power Slave. And then because of Steve Harris's love of literature, I read a lot of books I would have normally never read. But the same is true of Neil Peart. I read all the Ayn Rand shit. I read, isn't that great when you love an artist so much and you find out about their influences? Like, I read all of that. She was a twat. I mean, what a selfish, psychopathic, individualist, crazy bitch. And he even said later on, they're like, do you still subscribe to Ayn Rand? He's like, no. No. I mean, I read The Fountainhead and all that stuff. It was a great read, sure. But, give Dirk anything. Dirk will read anything.
I like what Christopher Hitchens said about Ayn Rand.
What
He's
did he
like,
say?
He was like, well, she wrote books about how man should be more selfish. And he goes, I don't know how more selfish he can get. I don't know if you've been paying attention, Miss Rand.
Yeah.
But we're already pretty bad. We don't need any more incentive to be more selfish.
Yeah.
But anyway,
wow. That was
yeah.
That was yeah.
But it's kind of inspiring about individuality. Didn't latch onto that Neil Peart.
I mean, I think starting with I promise you, Sheen and I are insanely deep Rush fanatics, so we won't go there because that can go really dark really fast. Starting with Crest of Steel, and of course, all of 2112 is based on the. I mean, it even says 2112 lyrics by Neil Peart with acknowledgement to the genius of Ayn Rand. I think it says that on
even Fly By Night. Anthem of the Heart.
Sure. Well, Anthem of course. That's a book of hers. Anthem. Yeah. I mean, that's probably the first one. Anthem is the name of their record label.
Yeah, it was all about the individuality of the human. About separating them. Of course, she came from kind of communist Eastern Europe, where the idea of the individual was shunned. Sure. And of course, the idea in America was you were allowed to be an individual. In fact, it was encouraged. So it was one of the shining great examples of the modern world, was that individuality was applauded and encouraged. Whereas in socialist or heavily communist old Europe, it was, and fascism as well, was an idea of being part of a group and one spoke in a very large wheel. So he was very against that. And it's hard to argue with that, of course, in the modern world we have now. It's very, very hard to argue with that. Strangely, I found that the right, who used to embrace Ayn Rand, are now a little bit against that individuality now. They're more conformist, because, some guy says, no, I'm a girl, or some girl says, no, I'm a guy. They're not into that now. They want to pull back and be conformist. It's funny to me, like how the biometrics of how these things go quite often, where originally the kind of the right wing, certainly in the West, was pro-individual, and now that people are getting individuality kind of to a heavy extreme, they ain't into it more. It's like, why isn't it like the old way? Make the country great again, like the way it was, It's weird, that balance, the ebb and flow of feelings and ideas,
Yeah.
Anyway.
It reminds me of that first episode of not a great show, but a great episode, the very first episode of The Newsroom, which was an HBO show, and it was Aaron Sorkin wrote it, and what is the guy from who's the actor? Oisin, forgive me.
Is he
I'm
from
so
Dumb
bad.
and Dumber? Is it Jeff
Yeah,
Daniels?
Jeff Daniels. Thank you. He gives a speech, and they're like, "America's the greatest country in the whole wide world," and he's like, "When
Yeah,
was
I've
it
seen
great?
that.
When was
Yeah.
it great? It's the greatest 10 minutes of television." And then the show kind of just became too smart for itself, and everyone who showed up in the scene had the perfect answer and retort, and everyone was the smartest person in the room, which is, of
True.
course, never the case.
Right.
And that's very Mamet, and that's very it's very
It's very
FOIS.
David Mamet for
very-
everybody to have very sharp, quick answers. I'm a big fan of House. Did you ever watch House with Hugh Laurie?
Genius. I mean, every episode was Scooby-Doo. It was all the same,
Yes.
obviously, but just the
It was
performances and the writing.
formulaic. Yeah, it was
was
formulaic.
formulaic. But what the monologues that they would give him and what he could do with them was
Yes.
just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
He's
I was a big fan of that
and a
show.
ride. I'm sorry.
You like him? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking guy. Yeah, he's kind of got a lot of
a bit of a ride.
charisma, and
Yeah.
he looks good in a motorcycle jacket, a cafe racer jacket,
Yeah.
and he gets on his motorcycle, and he's got his
je ne
limp.
sais quoi, you know? It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
happens.
He's got his limp. That's so funny that he became a kind of a hot dude to a lot of people, because in Britain, of course, he was part of a comedy duo where he was the lanky, skinny, awkward guy, you know, with the tiny chin pushed back into his neck fat, kind of going.
The Stan Laurel.
Yeah, he was the Stan Laurel. There you
Yeah.
go. That's exactly what I was looking for in my head. Thank you. And then he adopted the American accent for the show, and he had that whole twang, and he had the whole, well, maybe you're lying. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, nobody ever lies. And all his quips. I love watching him because he reminds me of me. Like, he's a dickhead. You know, I'm a bit of a dickhead. And I just am, you know.
A self-admitted dickhead.
Yeah. And you know, and kind of the dickhead who's right, but nobody wants to agree with him, you know. But because he's such a dickhead, and but his quips and his humor are great, and he's misunderstood as well. I feel that way.
Well, he's a super
savant
on that show as well.
Well, he's a lot smarter than me, obviously, a different kind of thing. And but he's a
super medical genius.
Yes. And some of the shit is brilliant. And I like I just like all the funny shit about his sexuality as well, and him hitting on women, various women.
It's so inappropriate. My God.
Yeah.
I mean, it is absolutely unbelievable how that would never be made now. You know, it would never ever
not
be made.
Now. No. Yeah, we've taken a slight step back. That's true. But it's just I always felt that the writing was so smart that it outdid anybody who could be a detractor, you know, in its direction.
I want to grab this guy's comment because I can expound upon it, and it's great. Hi, Jock Dodson. So I have a great story about this. So the newsroom might have been something I liked, but I cannot watch anything with Jane Fonda. So for most of you who do not know why he's making that comment, I will tell you.
Well, hold on. Well, let's not assume.
Oh, I'm guessing. Oh, am I wrong? Well, I'm just okay. I could be wrong. Okay. So I'm gonna say that most people don't like Jane Fonda because of what she did during the Vietnam War, which was she went across the enemy line and she kind of palled around in Hanoi with the Vietnamese enemy, and she smoked with them and drank with them and partied with them and all that stuff. And I'm gonna share a little picture if I can. Okay, hold on. Where's your screen? So, here's my funny story about Hanoi Jane, which is her nickname.
Okay, so first of all, just before, Jock, in case you weren't meaning that, we're so sorry we've taken this and flown off with a new thing. If you were meaning that, well then, I guess hang on to your socks.
Yeah.
If that's what you mean.
But he also talks about so anyway, could you give us a little quickie yes or no whether or not it's about the Hanoi Jane thing? Anyway, so many years ago, our friend Dorothy was having a celebration for her son's baptism, and it was at a VFW hall. Now that's a veterans hall in America. It's like a Legion hall for veterans, you know, veterans leagues, et cetera, et cetera. So I went into the men's room, And in the urinal was a urinal cake that had a picture of Jane Fonda on it, and it said Hanoi Jane, of
Wow.
which you were meant to piss on.
Piss on her, right? Okay.
Which was
Got it.
like, listen,
Loud and clear.
you
loud and
had
clear.
to have a good fucking chuckle over that one. Regardless of any
Did
of
he
that,
confirm or not?
did he
Oh
confirm?
no, he said no. That isn't. Oh, he
That
said
is
no.
what I mean.
That is what I mean. So he's
Great.
talking about that. Okay.
Yeah, she is loathed by everyone in the military service for what she did there.
Okay.
Regardless of your political inclinations, etc., 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 that is the reason why Jane Fonda has not been persona non grata towards the American military.
Right.
But I'll never forget that. I walked in there and I ran outside. I said, "Did you guys see the urinal cakes? This is Jane." I mean, clever as shit. Whether you agree or not, it was funny.
It was
And I did. I peed on her because I had to.
because you had to pee.
Because I had to pee.
I'm
She
not
is,
even gonna say
however,
anything.
she is, however, an actor of the finest order.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that, man.
No. She is. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, people have, there's a lot of artists out there that I love. So somebody earlier just said that they spent the day. Let me see if I can get past here real quick. Somebody said they just got back from a Pearl Jam concert. Here it is. Mr. Watch Addict. Late to the party tonight, just returned from Pearl Jam at Pink Pop, which is obviously a huge festival in Netherlands. It's a band I don't really enjoy at all. But I think Eddie Vedder is probably one of the best humans on earth. He's a great guy. He's got a great message, but he alienates a lot of people because instead of allowing you to enjoy his music, he's got an agenda which drives a lot of people crazy.
Finish your thought.
Well,
sorry. Did you do a hard left? No, sorry. I thought.
No, I didn't.
I thought you were going somewhere with that. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying.
Excuse me.
I'm equating it to Jane Fonda's artistry.
Yes.
Sometimes when an artist and Eddie Vedder is a great artist. It's not particularly my cup of tea. I like some of their stuff. I only like the shit that they had with Dave Abruzzese. That drummer, those records were exciting. There was great playing. I think that the band really gelled. I love the way that guy plays drums. He's a fucking monster. But the pontification and all that kind of shit really turns a lot of people off. That's why people have a hard time with Bono, who is an extraordinary artist by anyone's account. But, he can get a little preachy and annoy the shit out of people. And I get it. That's why I've always felt like most of the artists that I really like keep their mouths shut. Like, we all have our charities or our ambitions or our belief systems or, like I've said, I'm a lifelong vegetarian. I refuse, and I don't wear animals. I don't eat them. But I don't preach to you about shit. And I go out with Asheen and he has a steak dinner and I don't care. It's none of my fucking business. And I think that is how people need to run their lives. Do all you can for your endeavor. Do what you can. Be passionate, but don't preach to people about what they should and shouldn't do because it's not your life and it has nothing to do with you. So that's my rant. I don't think it's important.
But what if you thought something
just don't kill
to be preached
doggies?
about?
I mean, I don't think people should be eating dogs and cats, but I don't think they should be eating cows either. But I'm never going to stop people from doing that because humans eat cows. They just always have. They just do it, there's you have to put stuff into perspective of what am I? I'm not Bono. What is Bono or who's the probably the most successful person of that that milieu that has transcended what they do and turned it into a voice for the people, the animals, the act.
I'll tell you exactly, and it's going to put you in your place because I disagree with almost everything you just said.
Go.
Roger Waters.
Okay, but however, and I'm a giant Roger Waters fan.
Yeah.
People fucking hate him, so I'm correct. People hate him. I went to the Roger Waters show.
Doesn't mean they're right.
Shut the fuck. No, it doesn't mean anybody's right. But when you do that, to the extreme that he does that. Like Jane Fonda did, or Eddie Vedder does, or any of the people.
No, the problem, excuse me, the problem people like our good friend here have, if he doesn't mind me putting words in his mouth, I hope I'm not too wrong, isn't the fact that she had a political statement. It's the fact that her political statement didn't suit. You see, it's the same thing as people who go to see U2 and they don't want to hear about Myanmar and Burma, or they go to see Bruce Springsteen. They don't want to hear that he's anti-Trump or whatever. They don't want to hear it. So if they want to hear it, they're cool with it. If they don't want to hear it, then they are. Excuse me, can I finish? If they don't want to hear it, then it becomes, oh, don't bring your politics into the concert. Just play the hits for God's sake. Then the thing flips. So what happens is, you go to see Roger Waters. Roger's been singing about man, war, conflict, love, all of these things for so long. But then when he says something like, I once was stranded in Iran and a lovely family took me in and gave me dinner, then the guys are like, USA, USA. They get pissed off because they don't want to hear now what he has to say. If he said, God bless the troops and, blah, 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 those same guys would be like, yeah, it's the best concert ever. All of a sudden, the argument of don't bring politics, don't whine, don't preach to me happens because you hear a message you don't fucking like.
Always that.
I've yet to meet a person who is like, yeah, I totally agree, but he shouldn't bring it into the concert. That never fucking happens. It's always a person who just gets pissed off because it's a message they don't agree with. And then they go, oh, why did he whine about politics all night? Just play us the goddamn hits.
When I was at the Garden for the Dark Side of the Moon tour for Roger, I'll never forget when the pig went up and it had some imagery on it that it was George Bush was the incumbent president at the time. There was a guy next to me and he was like a Goldman Sachs-y guy. Whatever, and he started fucking cursing out, motherfucker, why the fuck, fuck your politics? I'm like, why? I said to him, why are you here? You know what he's about. It's not like somebody like me who's insignificant. I mean, he's a significant personality in the media world. Like if I opened up my mouth and said, England out of Ireland or fucking Israel out of Palestine or any of that kind of oppressive shit, like 3 or 4 guys would go, yeah, and nobody would say boo because nobody cares. But Roger is a big entity. And another thing that people don't seem to realize, and I think I'm going to bring this up, and I said this to a guy the other day and he didn't seem to understand it. And here's my my little analogy.
Okay.
There was a film called Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Yes.
Now, did you ever see it? It's John Cameron Mitchell, and it's a guy. He's a playwright and a singer-songwriter, and he got together with some guy, and they wrote some songs, and they made this play, which became a film.
Right.
Now, it is loosely. It's never been said that this is true, but it is true that Roger Waters was the intelligentsia. He was the main songwriter and themic guidance of Pink Floyd. There is no dispute of that.
Right.
David Gilmour, we're like the whole Dave Roger thing. We're all like kind of just
sure.
Dave's great. We love Dave. Dave is not as anywhere near the contributor of the oeuvre that Roger has put forth.
It was a joint venture. It was a joint thing.
for the most part. But like most of the songs were written by Roger with incredible contributions from all. Let's okay.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so he leaves and they continue. So they continue. And they play stadiums all over the world. Right. Roger is playing clubs. Sure. Roger's got a record called The Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Roger's got a record called Radio Chaos. Yes. No one cares. Roger has probably the greatest record he ever made, ever, called Amused to Death.
Yes.
Nobody cares. He's got Jeff Beck on guitar. So he's playing in the same cities. He's playing at, a 1,200 seat club / theater while the band is playing at, Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, he walked away. It was his decision.
It was his
You make your
decision.
bed.
So Hedwig is the same, where there was this guy, and the whole thing is like this guy created this thing, and the guy got big, and he got left in the dust, and he trails him around on this guy's stadium tour, and he plays all the shitty little shitholes. Of course, it's a much bigger exaggeration of the details, but like Roger's voice was unheard for many decades. Throughout the 80s and the 90s, only in the 2000s did Roger start to, because he started playing the music reverentially, he started playing it in a way that it was he was playing stadiums and playing, first it was arenas, theaters, then it was stadium, then it was arenas, then it was stadiums. The guy really rebuilt his whole thing back. Everybody knows what Roger's stance is. So if you're going to go to a Roger Waters show and go, fuck you and your politics, you're just completely missed the plot, because that's his plot is based on that. All of it.
I don't mind if somebody disagrees with his politics. I mind that they have
either.
an issue that he speaks about his politics at his own show.
It's his show. Like, say whatever the
it's
fuck
his
you
house.
Want.
It's like going into somebody's house, invited for Thanksgiving dinner, and then they I don't know, they put on their favorite music, and you go, how dare you play that music? It's like, it's their fucking home. Like, it's his own show.
How about if they want to say grace before the meal?
If you're not into it, go home. It's fine.
Jesus is bullshit.
Bashar said happy birthday and happy Father's Day. Thanks.
Look at that. Something for all of us. Yeah.
Something for all of us. Thank you so much.
You don't go into anybody's house, and that's true. Like, you don't tell them they can't say grace, and the picture of Jesus or Yahweh or whomever they've got up there, Muhammad. You don't do that. So there's a long-winded story, but at the end of the day, it's like, people, come on. Tolerance is everything in this world. We have to tolerate so much. If I have to deal with Tiffany, Amber, Bethany, and their fucking cocktailery and their phone bullshit, and the people that don't walk up the stairs on the subway when I'm trying to get to work because they're busy on like Instagram. I was like, oh, I almost pushed a girl out of the way because the weekends there's no local trains. I have to deal with like so much bullshit. And there's a guy like this. Oh God.
Happens a lot in Venice. People decide to look up their maps because they're confused in the exact spot where there's like 4,000 people trying to walk past them. Troy McMahon, $5. I now have 2 17-week-old Canadian Timberwolf clubs.
Oh my
2,
God.
only 4 in Ireland. You can have a look on my page. They are something special.
Can we
your
go?
Page,
where's
Troy?
this page? Send us the link to your page so we can go put it on here.
Somewhere there. Did he put it in? Stephen Johnson, 179. Thanks so much, man. We all love watches. Why is there so much crap?
Like what?
Well, I mean,
swatches.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's talking about the drama. I'm going back in time here because we were talking and I'm going back in time. So it could have been referring to what I was talking to earlier. The crap, we'll talk about it here in iBashers for sure, because iBashers isn't really necessarily about watches. Sorry about that if that's all you're here for, but I think you should hang around because you might enjoy the chat nonetheless, or all the same is what I should say. A lot of great comments here, but they're not super chatty, but I'll get to them anyway. Best band I've seen this year is Killing Joke.
Wow.
Jazz Coleman predicted the virus and the new Cold War on their 25th album, Pylon. Okay. Very political. But
I have Pylon somewhere here. I have that record.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
I enjoyed Killing Joke in a massive way.
Okay. Very cool. Anyway,
look. All the super chats?
I think so. I mean, I'll keep checking. You can keep talking. Sorry.
Leaving Beirut. Here's what Justin said, and this is true because I knew that you were talking about Leaving Beirut, which is a massive, massive song, isn't it? Fuck.
That's the one where the guys started screaming USA in front of us. Do you remember?
Of course he did. Yeah,
because it was Leaving Beirut because he found himself in Beirut and the family took him in.
Yeah, his car broke down.
I saw a TikTok guy the other day doing a real quick thing going top 10 places I've ever traveled. He's obviously a travel channel. He's a young guy traveling the world and showing people. It's an amazing thing. And he's like, my top 10 places in the world. He goes through the list why, various different places you wouldn't even think of. He didn't even mention Italy, for example, which I thought was interesting. And he got to Iran.
The food
clearly
sucks.
American. Yeah, the architecture is horrible.
It's gross.
So he clearly American guy, and he got to I think number 2 was Iran, and he goes, sweetest, gentlest people in the world. I've never felt so welcome. Then he goes to the next one. I was like, that's your comment on Iran? Like, think of how indoctrinated people in the Western world are about Iran. Like, wow. Like, that was the comment he had, is that they're the sweetest, and there's nothing political about his thing at all, as far as I could see. It was just, he was commenting on the food and the culture and the people and the things he discovered around the world on his trips around the world. So I thought it was an interesting comment.
You can't know the world until you see the world.
Yeah,
you
it's true.
can't. So, like, you can't sit in your armchair in Topeka and say, fuck those Iranians and those Rockies. You can't do that. You can't do that from anywhere. I know they love to do it, but you need to see the world. There's a great guy, and I'm going to get his name wrong, but his name is Peter, and he is an American guy that travels to like Kazakhstan and Afghanistan and Iran, and he goes to all these crazy places. And I'll find it before the end of the stream, and I'll share it with you. He's got a pretty big YouTube channel, and he goes and he meets people, not military, not government. He meets people, human beings, and they have a conversation, and they feed him. And he goes to the most dangerous city goes to Kandahar or crazy places like that. And it just goes to show you that people are people everywhere. They are people everywhere. And that our governments, and ours is certainly, I don't know which one yours is from where you're listening to, but most governments are the reason why we have conflicts with other countries. Not you, not your mother, not your sister, not your cousin, not your brother. It's our governments, because over trade deals, over territory, over some kind of financial gain, we have a problem with other people. So when you say,
it's not the people versus the people. No. Yeah, we've been told. I like that. That's a very interesting way of putting it. Your family doesn't have an issue with the family, some little family in some little home who make about the same as you do, or less, or whatever. Far less in most cases across the world. It's the guys on the top who bicker with the other guys on the top and then tell you're supposed to be angry at these people who you've never met. It's very interesting.
Did you see Putin's latest crap?
No, what's going on?
The end of them. Talk about ice cream for a second.
Okay. I haven't eaten ice cream in a while. I went on a little fast today.
Oh.
I'm having a little red wine at the end of the day, and I slowed down earlier while I was doing Who Needs a Drink, because I realized that the red wine, excuse me, was hitting me way harder than it should. And the reason why is because I've been eating too much lately and enjoying life a little too hard. And I'm like, I'm putting on weight again. I'm like, stop it, man. You're heading into the summer. Stop it. And I suffer a lot from various different foods that I eat. So I just, I woke up this morning.
You definitely have celiac of some form.
Or something. Yeah.
You do. You have a wheat.
And I was walking around, and like 5 in the evening, early evening, I had a cup of coffee and some water, a lot of water. And I thought to myself, this is when my body feels best. When I don't eat. Eating, I do it out of habit,
necessity,
a schedule. Not necessity, schedule. Oh, it's dinner time now. I have to go to dinner. I don't say to myself, am I hungry? Does my body need nourishment right now? One of the great things when I had COVID heavily last year in November, and I didn't eat for fucking weeks, and I dropped a shitload of weight, is that actually I felt in equilibrium. Other than the cough that was happening, everything else felt much more in equilibrium. So today I had about that much food. I had a couple of pieces of shellfish that were in the fridge, just light, and that's it.
Like what? Like clams or
like a couple of pieces of what they eat here, cuttlefish. Just very, very light, small amounts. Just because I started getting a headache.
Yeah.
and Blondie had left some stuff for hydration behind, some electrolyte stuff to put into water. And she said to me on the phone, "It's like, she was like, stick that into water and it'll rehydrate you because can you see I'm a little tanned? I've been on the beach a lot and stuff.
You've been at the Lido, huh?
Yeah,
We'll have to get into
cycling
that
out
next.
there, sure. And she's like, you're probably a little dehydrated too. And when you eat, you drink at the same time, water or juice, whatever you're having, or alcohol. So just get that into you. And I'm feeling good. Like it's 1:20 now, and I've had extremely little to eat all day, and I'm feeling pretty damn nice. And I'm taking it very slow with the wine. Usually I'm 3 bottles in by now. I'm about a quarter of a bottle in. So yeah, just a commentary on my physical condition.
You look good. I like your haircut. It's pretty cool.
Really?
It's trim. It's very, very aerodynamic. I think it's like usually it's a little bit more wild. You've got a real cut there. It's got a real cut to it.
I got a lot of criticism for the last Who Needs a Drink, because I kept fidgeting with my hair. People were like, can you stop fucking feeling your hair, you weirdo? I'm like, I'm so self-conscious of it sometimes. Anyway, Lido is wonderful, and it's a short boat ride out.
Lido is a sandbar on the opposite end of the lagoon of Venice, for those who don't know. It's basically...
Want to pull up a map of it or some photos or something?
Sure.
I was waiting outside the Deban way because there's people in there. There's cars.
They're working on it, but what do they do? Listen.
Okay, just to let everybody know, it's one of the most beautiful hotels in the world, and it's been closed for a long time. And I want to do a little documentary on it and take a watch that's been forgotten maybe and shoot it on the inside. So I'm waiting outside for these people. Sorry, Dirk. I just want to explain to everybody what you're...
No.
To come out, someone to come out so I can say, hey, can I inquire about like doing a little bit of a, filming inside there while it's still empty and cold and forgotten and so on. Yeah, so there's Lido out there, that long stretch. Can you do a zoom? You don't have a...
So that's just... Yeah, I do. Hold on. I don't know why I did that. Boom. Hold on.
Anyway, so there's Venice. You see where it says Venice. It's they call it Venice is a fish because it kind of looks like a fish, doesn't it? The shape.
I never heard that before.
Oh yeah, there's a book, a very famous book I was given by an ex of mine. Venice is a fish, and they quite often call it. Can you go up a little?
Sure.
Go up, left. There's Venice in the center. That is, you see the way it looks kind of like a fish. A lot of people refer to it as a fish. And yeah, then that long bar, then if you go down a little bit south right, that long bar, that's Lido.
This is Lido.
It's a beach place, it's a beach town, yeah. But it has
no cars.
Cars. Cars are over on Lido, yeah.
No beach, sandy beach. Yeah. All the hotels here, there's only 2, but there's actually only 1 now. But they have the most beautiful beaches and cabanas. I'm not trying to make you go there because you should, though. You should see it once in your life. But anyway, God, I digress. You were talking about
that was it.
So the Deban is a hotel that I stayed in 1999, and it was my first trip ever to Venice, and I've been back many times. Now my buddy is there, and so of course we go visit him, but it closed because of bad administration. And at one time there was a group of hotels that were owned by Sheraton, and they were all the best hotels. Then they just got sold off. But this one is sitting there like a monster, and I'll get a picture for you guys.
I'm already on it, man.
Go ahead, go do it.
Yeah,
do it.
But it's go ahead. No, keep going.
I'm going to get rid of my share. You go. You share it.
I don't know how to.
Did you so you spoke to somebody? Sharing. This is very interpersonal, but you spoke to anybody at the gate there? Did you talk to them?
No, I couldn't get anybody. I waited around for someone, and no one came out, and I came back later. No one came out because I'm trying to get in there before they they do renovate it, and then I can't, see it the way it was for so long.
Oh, they're not going to goof with it. I mean, it's a 1920s 1909 Belle Epoque hotel. So this is where Paul and I stayed in 1999 by accident because my reservation got screwed up, and we wound up. They put us here, and it was the most magnificent place. And it's the location for the book Death in Venice, and which is a Visconti film. Which is I wouldn't watch it because it's kind of pedophilic and creepy, but it's a Thomas Mann novel, and this hotel was just magnificent. It actually created my love of great hotels because it was magnificent. And right across from where you're seeing there, the hotel, the face is the beach. Now, there's a road
I
in
pulled
between.
it
There
up
you
right
go.
in
Look at
time.
that. You access the beach from the level below the lobby. It opens right into the beach
Look at
because it
those
goes
cute
under the road.
cabanas that they have there. That's nice. They're
Yeah.
still active though.
Yeah, because the beach has been leased out by another entity. But
Right.
whereas we now stay, when we stay at Lido, we go to the Excelsior, which is down the road a bit, which is Guglielmo, the main road there.
If you
Guglielmo
guys know my
Marconi.
channel very well, you know this because I passed this and I pointed it out on one of the
Yeah.
episodes. I also pointed out the Excelsior as well. Look at the view from
It's a
the
magnificent
beach.
place that's now lying dormant
This is the
because
mall. Now that's where I tan. There's about I don't know, maybe 30, 40 of these malls going out into the water along that stretch. And I pick a different one every time. And I go out and I lie just like that girl. I don't look as good as that, but that's basically what I do. I put my head on a rock and I lie there and get sunned. And it's just a wonderful place. Oh, this is when it was still open. Look at that.
no, that was for the Biennale.
That was
They
for the
let everybody in there because they had an exhibition of Italian cinema, and they let this was about 2 years ago.
All
We
right.
we were there all we were all there together in 20. Oh my God, when was that? 2017? Shit, that's a
2017,
long
yeah.
time ago.
Yeah.
So 2018 was when that was just
Okay.
pre-pandemic. And meanwhile, I've got pictures
see.
of all of these rooms when it was open. I'll
Right.
digitize them. They're in a photo album because it was
Back in
pre-digital.
1995 or whatever. Oh yeah,
99.
Terrazza Biennale. I remember
Yeah.
that when they were setting that up, which is a great thing. It's a beautiful moment in time, moment in history. The other one, the Excelsior, is where we love.
Sure. And I love it by default because it's all I can get because I mean, I would kill for this hotel I wish I won the lottery. The first thing I would do would be buy that hotel. I would buy it and reopen it because it was magnificent.
So this
Yeah,
is
this
the
is
one,
where we go
guys,
now.
that we love. Been to many times. Oh shit! I need to allow before. Oh yeah, and they have a picture of a completely different part of Venice.
That is the Grand
That's the
Canal.
city of Venice. That's not the same place at all. I
Good.
love
So
the way a
show the
lot of
second
these
picture
hotels.
though. Okay, so when you arrive at this hotel, it's on a sandbar, and you go through a couple of little tiny canals, and it's going to be a slideshow. Fuck. You cannot believe that this thing shows up, and it was really exciting. It's very exciting to be with somebody who's never been there before. Like in this particular instance, it was his sister-in-law and my BFF Dana, and we turned a corner on a canal, and then that's what we saw. That image. Yeah, that's
They
the
know
one.
Dana, my sister-in-law. They know her from
We
from
got that image, and it was
iBashers.
magnificent. It's just the most beautiful place. So if you want to go to Venice and see it and not have to deal with the throngs and the tourism and all the crazy Asian people that are clogging the streets like crazy, that's where you go and you stay. And they do. I mean, it's not don't get on me racially. It's just that's what they do as people. They just clog the streets, and it's the most beautiful place ever. And it's it's a 5L hotel, which is really beautiful, and it's right on the beach. So look at that at night. That's where we ate
Every time you
dinner.
say something, I pull up the correct picture.
You always get it. Look at that.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
right on the.
It's a
we had
5L.
dinner
It's
out there,
above
yeah.
5 stars, and it's not all that expensive. However, they're under new ownership, and I have to say that their new campaign is slightly Tiffany Amber Madison.
How much time do
Daphne.
we spend at that pool?
Do you know
with
I
the
spent
kids.
almost none?
Oh, really? You didn't go in the
You guys
pool?
were like, I did the cabana thing, but I'm not a pool beach guy. So I like the bars and I like the rooms and I like all that stuff. I don't know. Like you guys were out there. I actually spent no time there. It's a great pool. Do you swim in pools? I'm not a pool guy.
I do. I get into pools. It's great. Look at that.
But
I've got
that's
so
it.
many
Look, it's
photos
a
like
beautiful
that. Yeah.
place.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
wonderful
stunning.
place to stay. And I've never had dinner in the restaurant proper, but many a
It's okay.
breakfast.
It's okay.
It's
That's
okay.
not the thing to do, though. There, the thing is to hang by the pool and then eventually get cleaned up, get ready, and get on the boat and head to the city for for food and come back. It's not a place to necessarily dine, although you can. You get back and you have a late drink. I'd get back and have a scotch, like a midnight scotch, and look at it at the Adriatic at night, the moon over the water. There's the cabanas. That, in fact, might be the exact cabana that we rented. Look, I think that's number 14, number 15.
It's hard to tell from that angle, but it looks like it probably is.
Because that's not their mole. That's the next one to the left. The mole we can't see is on the right. Their mole, the big one with the big thing at the end of it. They're the two cabanas we rented the last time, man. Look at that. And
yeah, oh God, yeah. Look at
anyway,
that. Yeah. I've got I'll dig up mine for a future. Oh, that's new. That I've not seen.
This is all new, yeah.
That's all
the
new.
Blue
They
bar is
changed
down
that.
below now as well.
Oh, did they move the location of Blue Bar?
Yeah, I think they did. They moved it down below.
Lord.
Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm getting texts here. What's going on? A ton of people.
This guy wrote, can you talk about how you feel about the Omega Hippocampus design, that it was borrowed from the gondolas of Venice? Well, I mean, in the 50s, there was they had a guy working for Omega named Jean-Pierre Borel, who was, I think he was an engraver. I'm pretty sure he was an engraver at Omega. And he was the guy that came up with that as a insignia. He created
After
the
he
observatory.
visited Venice. Yeah.
He came up with the observatory, and so he took a trip to Venice and he saw the hippocampi on the gondolas.
Right.
There were seahorses, and he just thought it was great. So he brought it back to Omega as a Seamaster design. So that was all Jean-Pierre Ball in 1950. I think it was 52 that he did that. So yeah,
isn't it weird that the hippocampus appears at the back of many Speedmasters, including mine?
It does, even though it is because the Speedmaster was originally part of the Seamaster line, and then it switched. It was originally a Seamaster Speedmaster. I mean, the CK2915 that was in that, it was considered part of that series, even though it can't even handle raindrops.
No, not much. No,
and you don't want to,
barely.
Yeah, so that's just not a good idea. But yeah, isn't that a great one though? Would you suggest? Here's a Greg for an idea. Would you suggest Lido over Positano? Never been. I can't say. Can you say? I've never been.
That's asking. Would you suggest meat over fish? I mean, I think you should have both. Positano is a amazing place. Just remember this: the photos you see of Positano and the reality of Positano are different. So there's a great thing on TikTok and on Instagram. These memes, what you imagine versus the reality, and the music starts, and then a dude cuts in and trying to sing the rest of the music, and he's all out of tune, basically showing you that you go to Santorini in Greece, and you see the photos, and you think of. But then you see the reality is hordes and hordes of people all in the same place, and you can't fucking get past anyone. So be careful with Positano, because you see it in the movies and you see the photos and you think, oh, what a dream, an undisturbed dream. It's very disturbed.
Yeah.
It's very, there's people everywhere, and they're all trying to take the same photo from the same exact corner, the same corner you want to take your photo from. All of that, just remember that. Lido is not overrun like that. A lot of people don't know about Lido, which may be the reason why they have the film fest out there, why all the stars stay out there, and so on. It's like away from everything. So they would be the differences, I would say.
The world is so small now, though. It's hard to protect any unknown place from the throngs. I mean, it's like the reason why people love bands that are underground. I'm into the Strawbs and I'm into the, whatever band you're into. And then the second they have a hit single, you abandon them. It's the same. I've never been south of Rome, so I've never been to Amalfi Coast or anything. And I'd love to see it, but I'm sure I know what to expect. Like, I don't walk past the Trevi Fountain when I'm in Rome for a reason. I saw it once.
Yes, yeah.
And I was like, ew. And I kept going.
The
Maybe
fountain
3 o'clock in the morning.
Sure. Yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning is a good time to
I'll go at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what? I'll take a disco nap and then we'll go out and we'll go hit a couple of places and then go hit those things. But it's like, I never really found that in Venice all the times I've been there, even before you lived there. I used to have an old adage that said, and I made it up. Every time I see Venice, I love it a little bit less. That is completely reversed now, and it has been for many years, because the first time I went there, I stayed at Debain, and it was magnificent. The second time I stayed there, we stayed at the Bower, and it was fucking amazing. And then I started to see all the people with their Louis Vuitton bags and their Gucci bags, how they came in and pillaged the town. And you can't pillage a town when you're paying far over retail, but they just came in, and the cruise ships, and it just felt Disney to me. It felt like, oh God, this town is losing its identity. Well, they've stopped the giant cruise ships.
Yes.
They've stopped a lot of that stuff. They stopped a lot of,
and there's still talk of charging people to come into the city.
I think that they should
just to enter the city, which I think
it's too totally delicate a place.
Yeah, it's an open air museum.
It's
also
an open air museum.
Myself and Liddy were walking through the piazza the other day, and there were people waiting for the band at Quadri to start again. People standing in the piazza waiting for the band, and I remember being one of those people. And I looked at Liddy, and I was like, "Oh God, this is terrible." Because now I fucking hate when the band play. Because it's like, shut up! I just want to sit in silence.
You just want to have a chinara.
I want to have a chinar and I want to fucking relax inside. I don't want to hear some big orchestration or something like shush, 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 shush. Whereas all
crap
the
music anyway.
Yeah,
you are the winds beneath my wings.
Sometimes they play some stupid crap, yeah, and then they do. They're all great musicians and it's great, but sometimes we were at the Florian the other day and I was like, I'm so happy. This is my happy place right now, and I'm with my daughter and it's so nice. But I really wish the band that oboe is really fucking loud. Shut the fuck. You're like a mosquito in my ear, But I know I'm the only dude there being such a dick, Everyone else is loving the music.
You're the only person thinking about the levels.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the just bring the volume down, guys, because it's evening and everybody wants to just wind down and we don't need to hear that oboe solo, okay, guys? Just leave the pianist by himself for 30 minutes playing some light jazz or something, or some old classical or something,
What kind of piano does the guy at the Florian have? Is it like a Schimmel or?
I don't know what it is. I didn't pay attention.
Have you never walked past it and just gone,
I'm sure I've glanced and
it's probably a Yamaha.
I can't even think right now.
Because you need a piano that's like not going to.
No, it's not a Yamaha. I don't believe it's a Yamaha.
It's probably a Schimmel, or it's not going to be a Steinway or a Bechstein or a Bosendorf
or a Fazioli or anything.
No. It should be a Fazioli.
It should be, but they're not going to buy that, and they're not going to put it out there.
The Florian could pay for a Fazioli in 1 week.
Of course they could.
With the way they charge for aperitif.
Oh my God. Myself and Liddy had 2 aperitifs. And we went we went to the Hard Rock Cafe after. We're like, let's go get some fucking fajitas, and dinner was cheaper than the aperitifs. Dinner at the Hard Rock was cheaper. And yesterday we went, when I picked up the watch, I was like, I have to celebrate. I'm sorry, but I went to adjust her collana, her necklace thing that I got her for her birthday with the diamond and all that. So we went to shorten it a bit because she's such a tiny thing. And I picked this up and I was like, I'm sorry, but the tradition is I have to fucking So we went to Formosa. You know, that's
Oh.
La Piazza Formosa. And we sat and we had Select, Spritz Select. And I have to say, now I'm onto Select. I'm like,
That's my only shit.
it's the truth, man.
That's the truth. That's the only. That's my spirits, baby.
Yeah, I came around. She always gets Select, and I asked for a chinar.
She always does.
Always, and I asked for a chinar in the bar. They were like, "We don't have chinar." I was like, "Okay,
we don't have chinar."
Yeah, they didn't have chinar, and I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm getting Select." And man, I'm done now. I'm on Select for the rest of the summer.
Me too.
It
God,
was
you make
so
me
good.
want to go make a Select right now.
And that piazza is so beautiful. And there's a huge fountain in the middle. And there's kids running around. All these beautiful couples. Like everyone was so gorgeous and lean. I feel like such a monster. All these guys going around like they were in Jesus Christ Superstar in 1972 or something. They're all super lean, and
I only want to say,
yeah, they look like Ted
if
Neely.
there
Everyone looks like Ted
is
Neely,
a way,
right? And the girls are all stylish. And then it started. Rain came in because, of course, it's a microsystem over Venice. Don't get me started on that. And
we're big Superstar fanatics.
You know, and then the thunder came down. Myself and Liddy were under the awning anyway, but everybody crouched in, and we were surrounded by people everywhere, and it was fun. It was great, and just the city has these electric little spots. The Piazza Formosa. I'll pull it up there.
Pull it up. I'm gonna go grab ice, club soda, and Select, and I'm gonna make one online for everyone.
Okay, let's see how it's made. How about that? It's a great idea.
I'll be right back.
I'll find the Piazza Formosa in the meantime. I can barely speak anymore. I'm fucking. My tone is worn out. Need a cough drop, which is a thing in audio in radio. They call it a cough drop, like the little thing lozenger you can take. Lozenger, there's a word I haven't said in a long time. Lozenger. But it's actually an audio thing. You press the thing and it turns off your mic for a split second while you cough, and then you release it and it turns it back on. So you drop the sound out. A cough drop. Very clever. That's why sometimes when you see like these brilliant vloggers and so on, they go, and you don't hear it because they hit the cough drop. Quite often they have it down at their feet so they can hit it like a pedal, like a guitarist. There's a piece of useless information for you. Piazza Formosa, Venezia. Vediamo adesso, ragazzi. Anybody speak Italian out there? I want to make fun of my accent. When I speak Italian, some people get a kick out of it because it's so northern. They're like, oh my God, we can tell you've been living in the north for so long. La Piazza Formosa. Aspetta che tolgo questo. Quite often we forget to remove that stuff. Here is the Formosa. Oh God, great. Just pull up a goddamn picture for me, goddamn it. Make it easy. There it is. So we were look at that loading. You'd swear it was 1995. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. And I have extremely fast internet, so it's total bullshit. I was at a bar right there. Oh, that's why, because it's a huge, huge image. I see. So the bar was right there where those kids are walking. And it's a beautiful little hidden spot. There's the church. If you looked at my Instagram, you probably saw pictures and video of me showing the watch off right there, sitting under that practically. And it's one of those little gems you have to find in around Venice. Venice is small little laneways everywhere, and then it opens up into a space. And there it is. That's the bar, and this cool clock above. Oh, look, it's loading a high res image. Now I see why it's taking so long. This is like a super high res image that I can zoom in on. I see. Oh, look at that. There's the clock. We were right under that. Beautiful. Great to discover little new spots around Venice too. Just delicious city. It's so small, but so much in it, you know. Yeah. How's everybody doing? Remove this. You know what? Blondie is coming on in 14 minutes. I hope Dirk's quick at that. Let me, I think I have her, I should share over her thumbnail. This is fun. To give you a preview. There she is. There's already 10 people waiting. Blondie's first official stream. T-minus 13 minutes. Okay, so she's okay, yeah. 13 minutes. Okay, let me see.
Hey folks.
Let's have a look.
So
go ahead.
I already put I already put 1 part Prosecco in there because I had to put the cap back on. So
Okay.
then this is called Select Venezia, and this is the it is by Pila, and it is Venice exclusive. It's very, very hard to find it outside of Venice. You can find it in the United States, in Italy, which is where I get it. It was established in 1920. So you do equal parts, right? So here I'm going to pour in the Select, right, to that, and then I'm going to add double the parts club soda or mineral water. And I'm using my very special stirrer, which I stole from the Excelsior Hotel.
Good one.
See the Excelsior? And then you give it a little twirl. Right. It's a beautiful red color. And it's, I'm sure you probably, I don't know what you said while I was gone, but it is the perfect bridge from people who like Aperol to people who like, say, you know, something a little bit heavier like a Cynar or a Campari. It is not as bitter as those and not as sweet as Aperol, and it's absolutely delicious. That is a Select Spritz.
Nice.
It's delicious. Yummers.
I'm putting the link for Blondie in here, guys, into chat, so that I can go over straight after. Dirk, did you see her what thing? It's like
She looks very pretty.
yeah, she's ready to get the lads in to watch and talk about watches.
I don't know what it's doing to you guys, but she looks good.
Right.
I'm imagining. I would imagine what that's.
She's wearing the Explorer. She has an Explorer 1, the 39 mil.
I mean,
good watch.
she's still going to be rocking her two-tone, right? She's not. She didn't go for that absolutely stunning date just, right?
No, she did not in the end, unfortunately. No.
Did you get that? Did you nail that?
I still might do it just because it's
so should.
Yeah.
What is that running? How much? What are they charging for that thing?
12. I mean, for me, 12.
For you, 12. It's one of the most beautiful watches I have ever seen in my life. Absolutely astonishing. Did you show the channel that watch?
I did. Yeah. Everybody saw it. At first, we all thought it was. Yeah, it's a great watch, and a rare one and a strange one and I'll get it. I guess I'll get it. I just got another thing, but it's a matter of putting it away. I can't wear it. not that I wouldn't be interested in it.
how? I mean, we talk like wash women every day. I didn't know anything about. When did that occur? What was the
What thing?
impetus? The new AP. When did that occur?
At the beginning of the week, I went by my buddy and he had it. He just got it in. And I was like, "Oh, you kidding me? You got one of those?" I've been eyeing these things for a long time. And I said to him, "I'm going to take it, you know." And he goes, "Well, give me a few days with it because I just got it in. I want to enjoy it myself for a couple of days before I sell it." I said, "Fine." And I had to go back in on Friday with Liddy anyway to resize her necklace thing that I got her for her birthday. So I, went back in and I said, "All right, you done? Can I take it off and take it home with me?" The thing is that I showed Liddy photos of it and she's like, "That's a very cattivo, very angry, evil looking watch." And she goes, "Suits you perfectly, Dad."
I mean, it's not a watch that I would immediately think you would go for. But it really suits you. It does. Really does. Because you generally like more understated beauty than that. And that is
sure.
That's a big piece. It's a statement piece. It is.
It's a statement, yeah. But it's also kind of, it's dark and it's got some, anger to it. It's aggressive. It's an aggressive looking piece. Correct?
Yeah, you might get into a fist fight with that watch.
Yeah,
just beat the shit out of some fellas.
Yeah.
Have the scraps and be like, fuck. Because you might get some knackers like, take that fucking watch. What's that shite?
Well, if you can take it off me and get away with it, you've
good
earned
luck
it.
to you.
You've earned it. I hope you can walk straight after it. But size-wise, you have to admit.
Yeah, it's perfect.
You know what I should do though in the last couple of minutes of the iBashers? I'll wear the the Royal Oak just for comparison.
Yeah.
Sake.
Oh, P.S. The guy came in today and he was a very masculine-y looking guy with big hairy forearms. And what did he have on? Glowing like a motherfucker. He had a Luminor on.
Wow. He walked in out of the sun.
He walked in out of the sun to
into
look
a dark bar.
He was looking for the jacks,
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, where's the men's?" And I said, "Oh, it's right here." And I said, "Oof, that is one hell of a Panerai." And he's like, "Oh, do you like Panerai?" I was like, "Oh, sure." And he has 4 Panerai. I said, "You're a Paneristi." And he's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Dude,
he has 4 Panerais and he's
got 4 of them. He's got a Luminor. He's got a bunch of them." And I was like, "Dude, I've never seen Lume that bright in my life."
Well, Panerai Lume is second to none.
Jesus, it was
and
crazy.
Also, it's a huge plate of Lume.
Yeah, it's
covered with
plate.
the sandwich,
it's a sandwich
exposing
style. Yeah.
So
anyway, this guy had like Steve Garvey forearms, like these big hairy forearms, like he had a big thick muscly arm. I was like, you're the Panerai guy.
Right.
Perfect for you, man. And it was a 42, but it wore like a 44. It looked huge.
42s will wear, I mean, Panerais are big, and they look great on me too, man. What can you say? Like, they're
Panerais, beautiful shit.
Big statement watch. Time is set wrong on this watch. Look at that. Blondie, what are you doing?
She's getting ready for her debut. Then this is her debut show on her channel.
She's been on a couple of times. She's been on a couple of times and done a couple of little experiments. She did an Instagram thing last night, but I think she's doing a proper show now. I mean, she's just going to chat. It's just Blondie chatting. That's all, lying around on her bed, chatting, giggling, talking.
Is it like Madonna bedtime stories? Do you remember when Madonna did that record? Because she had made several serious records, her best records with Patrick Leonard. And then she made an album called Bedtime Stories. She covered Bjork, and the whole vibe was like, I'm on my bed and this is my music. And she was like inviting everybody to her boudoir. So I'm just thinking,
that might be it. That might be it. But she's afraid to play music in the background because she might get blocked. Demonetization isn't a problem, but blocking is a problem. She sticks on any Beatles, she's blocked. She
What was
sticks
she
on
going to
any
put
eagle
on?
she's. I don't know what she would put on, but I think she did a stream yesterday or the day before and got blocked because of it, because the music that was on in her car while she was talking.
Well,
So
don't do that.
she has yet to learn the rules of this crap.
So before this chat ends, I want to tell you quickly what
You've got about
what I've been
6
doing the
minutes.
last couple of days. So I had Colin over here the other night.
Oh,
He
my
popped
singer
by.
from my band.
He popped by.
Mhm.
Yeah, he popped by on my birthday.
Nice.
He called me to wish me a happy birthday, and
Mhm.
we live 2 blocks from each other. And I said, "Dude, why don't you come over? We're gonna have some drinks." And we, you know, stayed up till 2 o'clock, and we were talking about Mr. North for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And we were talking about like this is Oisin's band, of which I am a big fan, and the reason why we're friends is because I was a fan first, and I've said this many times. We're talking about the music of the band, and I told him he was telling me what music of the band he loves the most and what I like the most, and he was talking about Fear and Desire with incredible reverence, and I listened to it today, man, on my way to work and on my way home, and I had said something funny to Colin. I had said, the first record you were truncated. You were working with Jerry Harrison, and I don't feel like you gave the vocal performance that you normally give at live shows or on the other records, especially Everything, the third record. Man, I listened to Fear and Desire. I think it's my favorite Mr. North record.
Really?
Fucking hell, man. So Long Love,
It's a
For the
dark one.
Moment, The Cheater and the Cheated. I said it was a dark record, but I was listening to the performances. All of you. Now, you engineered that whole record?
Me and Steve Lyon.
It's
Depeche Mode.
outrageously
Just for
engineered.
reference for people, Depeche Mode. He did some work with McCartney, The Cure, Amplifier, many other artists. Yeah, he engineered that record. The mixing was done by myself and Keith. What's his name? He did Nine Inch Nails or some of the Nine Inch Nails stuff. Keith, I can't remember his name. I feel bad now. It was all
I
done
should know
in
where
San
that was
Francisco.
tracked, right? I was
No, it was
around for all
tracked
that.
in
Sonosphere, right?
Stratosphere.
Stratosphere, right?
The James E. Has studio from the Smashing Pumpkins, and it was mixed in San Francisco at
John
Red,
O'Glean's place.
the
Right.
secret place. Yeah,
That the vocal sound in So Long Love. What is that? It's the most amazing vocal sound I've ever heard. It's so present and so in your face, and it's so raw, but obviously it's got stuff on it, but I couldn't hear what it was. Usually I can time the delays, I can tell the compression. I was like, what is that? 1176? What is that? Sorry, geeky people, but I was
I'm
listening
not
to it
going
on
to go
my way
into
home.
that, but I can't
No.
honestly, I can't remember. But I remember engineering the record, wanting to go very dry with a lot of things.
It was very dry
because I was learning how to use. I would use a lot of smoke and mirrors in my production, reverbs and various different things, and I was learning how to dry things up. It was
It's
a
an
very
art.
different sounding
It's an art
record
to
to
be
the
dry.
first record.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
We all have a crutch
good-
where we want to throw LA2A and we want to throw like a nice,
because it makes things easy.
Yeah.
But no, it was a really good record, and it was a concept album.
Yeah.
As maybe the last one was too, but
It
not
definitely
as
was.
not as obviously as.
I think
the
it was
second
kind of
one.
like I know you're not a fan of one of my favorite bands, but Queen's records. They used to do not concept records, but themic records where they would have a loose storyline, and the songs would all have a correlation between each other, not specifically, but they would all like one album they did was technology versus ecology. So I think that everything was more that, whereas Fear and Desire was wow. And it's funny, the songs he picked for his favorite songs on the record were definitely not the songs that I liked the most.
Why is that? Which ones were they? I don't know.
Waking the Dead.
That's a funny one, yeah.
Which I didn't feel sounded like a Mr. North song at all.
Okay.
It just sounded like something different, experimental, and that's fine. But like there were moments on that record that I was just, my heart heaved like for the moment. It's like, Jesus Christ Almighty,
Yeah,
my heart hurts from this.
Yes.
Cheater and the Cheated, and So Long Love. That vocal on that is just, oh Jesus Christ. There's no, and like I had said to him, well, we had a couple of drinks that night. I said, I don't know if you've ever, like, I always loved Everything as his vocal tour de force for the Mr. North catalog. But I was like, you know what? I might be wrong about that, because he really sang the shit out of that. And I was like, the songs on Fear and Desire really are band songs, right? They're band songs. It sounds like a band striving towards something. And it's a song, it's an album I might have not overlooked because I know every word to every song, but like I really reappreciated it today, this morning, and on my way home. I was like, fuck, this shit is amazing. Anyway, we had a long talk about that. More about that later, but it was a very interesting chat.
Yeah, I mean,
very interesting.
I'm sure we can talk about it later ourselves. I'm sure that was very eye-opening. I'm just trying to do a redirect here for Blondie. Anybody? We're finishing up now. Go on over to Blondie. Can't I get her? I guess I can't redirect to her. Oh, that's right. I found this out. Because she doesn't have 1,000 subs anymore. Guys, sub to her. Here is the link one more time. Her video is starting any moment now. It's going to be a fun old chat. Nice company. Cute girl to put you
Do
to
they
sleep.
or don't they? Did they or didn't they?
There's the link, guys. Hit it. Go check her out. Give her some support. It could be a very cool watch channel in the future. She really loves watches. She knows a lot. She has an Audemars Piguet. She has a Datejust, an Explorer 1, and some other stuff. She has a G-Shock or two, I think. And might be interesting for you guys to check out. So go over and check her out. Watch her show. Give her a little encouragement, and also enjoy the view. It's a nice view. No shame in that.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's good. So
everybody says I talk too much, Dirk Diggler. That's why I'm here.
No, but Dirk is just giving
off a
you
meat
shit.
truck. It's okay. I could talk a dog off a meat truck, Dirk Diggler. Anybody ever say you copy people?
The Dirk Diggler.
Dirk Diggler had that giant purple prosthetic cock.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the worst part of the movie. It was a great movie. Then I was like, that's not real. I've seen big cocks, and that's not one of them. But I'll
prosthetic. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks everybody.
For the chat. Everybody, good night.
Nighty night.
There's the link one more time for Blondie.
Thanks for the fun, everybody. Thanks, Christopher. Thanks, Lakari. Thanks, Billy. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Russell.
Take it easy, guys. Good night.